Hello, and welcome to Burning Issues, the only program that provides you a glimpse inside the Wichita Fire Department. I'm Billy Wenzel, the Division Chief of Safety and Training for the Wichita Fire Department, and in this episode we'll talk about the history of reorganization of the Wichita Fire Department. Wichita's bravest work to provide excellent proactive fire and life safety services through prevention, education, and protection. But Wichita is a dynamic and growing community. As the city of Wichita grows, the demand for our services change, and the Wichita Fire Department must be prepared to meet that challenge and modify our service delivery to meet that need. These maps show the city of Wichita as it has grown over the years. In answer to that growth, fire stations have expanded to meet emergency response needs. As you can see, in the 1960s, Wichita had 12 fire stations. Today, we have 22. But as fire stations have been added, we've encountered new challenges. For example, there's now a greater area for emergency response supervisors to cover. In every significant emergency, there's a battalion chief or emergency supervisor who responds to the scene. Their role is critical to the safety of the emergency crews and the residents impacted by that emergency. Last November, the Wichita Fire Department expanded from 3 battalion chiefs to 4 battalion chiefs on duty every day. As a part of adding the 4th Battalion, we have developed a Special Operations Battalion to oversee the Wichita Fire Department's special operations. Joining me today are 2 of our Special Operations Battalion chiefs, Battalion Chief Sid Newby and Battalion Chief Robert Wolf. Hi.
Hi.
I just wanted to start out a little bit by having you guys explain a little bit about your fire service career and what you've done in the fire service. So, Sid?
I've been a member of the Wichita Fire Department for 30 years. Come up through the ranks, most of the time as a company officer, and on the hazardous materials team for a while. And then 3 years ago, I got promoted to battalion chief, covering the downtown area.
So the rest is history.
Yeah.
How about you, Bobby?
Okay, I'll have 30 years on next month. When I first started out, of course, I was assigned to the downtown station, got involved with our newly created rescue team, technical rescue team. At that time, it was just the dive team. Basically worked my way up through the ranks and career, being active on the rescue team, and also actually went into training, was being a training officer for a few years before being promoted to battalion chief.
Yeah, I know both of you have been very involved in training over the years. And so, now, Sid, can you explain a little bit about what special operations are? What does that mean? And what does it take to become part of that team?
Special operations is it's above and beyond what our normal training requirements would be as far as covering specific specialty areas, hazardous materials, technical rescue, and also our paramedics, which is our rehabilitation services. What it takes, mostly special certifications, like for the technical rescue team that Bobby is on, is you got to have national certifications in ropes, scuba diving, and also trench rescue, anything kind of underground. Hazardous materials, the same thing. You have to have a national certification for that as a operations tech, as a technician. All of our people are certified to the operations level. The technician level is the next step up from that. And then our paramedics, of course, are Kansas certified and national certified paramedics that respond and also go to alarms that are bigger alarms to where they cover for us and watch out for us and with our rehab, check for our resources.
It seems like that the special operations is really involved with really specialized technical training and skills. Is that kind of?
Yes, all of our members are trained to national standards, but for our specialties teams, it's even above and beyond that. It's a national certification in that specialized field.
Very interesting. Bobby, you kind of have a unique perspective, whereas you've been on the rescue team almost since the beginning of the rescue team and have come up through that. What is that kind of all about?
Yeah, it's changed quite pretty drastically in the past 30 years. Initially, at Station 1, we basically did surface rescue on water-related incidents, boat rescues and stuff. Information that came out and due to drownings and the savability prompted us to go to a dive team where we actually got certified, and the technical rescue team actually started out being just the dive team. Since that time, we've added confined space rescue. We've had several of those incidents. An example is the girl in the well that we got out. We do high angle rescue. We added that to it, where we have elevators and have to bring people down from high areas. And now, just recently in the past 7-8 years, we got involved in structure collapse. And that basically came out of the Bruce Grain elevator. We were a little lax in that area. We got a lot of equipment in that, got involved in structural collapse. All our members are structural collapse technicians, which is a 80-hour really intense course that they have to go through, and we're also members of Task Force 5, which is a regional response team in South Central Kansas.
Wow, it really seems like that as you described the rescue team and how it's evolved over the years, and the hazmat team, and it's just got larger and larger with the expectations from the citizens that we're able to accomplish more and more. It really kind of makes sense that now that we have a Special Operations Battalion. I want to talk a little bit more about the reorganization. Do you see that as one of the benefits, and what are some of the other benefits of the reorganization and adding this 4th Battalion and a Special Operations Battalion?
Well, I think it's good because it kind of gives an overall overhead management level to where the technical rescue team was doing their part, the hazmat team was doing their part, and also with our paramedics. But now it kind of gives an overall management of it to where we talk back and forth and what we can use our resources together and make the best use of our resources that we already have.
Which is one of our goals.
And a lot of some of the incidents we go on to, they require both units. Both the hazmat example would be a collapse, where we have hazardous materials, plus we need collapse people there. So before we integrated a little bit of our training between the two groups, now it allows us to expand that training a lot more and do a lot of cross-training. And hopefully this will go where we can cross-train individuals in different venues and stuff like that. So it gives us more assets and liabilities out there on a scene of an incident.
The fire service is very traditional and sometimes a little bit difficult when we make changes. Were there some obstacles to overcome as we went to this 4th Battalion, and how did that whole process work? I'm sure we just didn't flip a switch and all of a sudden we did that.
No, we talked about it in our management meetings quite a bit on how we would restructure it, and then how we would, what areas it would cover and what departments they would be, each person would be in charge of. And it seemed like it took, we looked at it for several months before they finally honed it down and decided how to do it. And it helped us a lot with our response to the west side of Wichita.
What did you see?
Yeah, that was one of the big advantages that we have with adding the 4th Battalion was alarms on the west side. Before that time, that was kind of an area that was a long response for battalion chiefs to get out there. With the addition of the 4th Battalion now, we've pretty much got the city covered in all areas, and that's really helped us a lot for getting there quickly as a battalion and taking control of an incident, and which is real key to the successful outcome of an incident.
Want to kind of switch gears here and talk a little bit about you personally. You've both been battalion chiefs for several years now, and kind of tell us what's the best thing about being a battalion chief. What is your day? How's your day evolve, and what are some of the real pleasures about being a battalion chief?
Well, it's busy. We start off very early, and we are busy throughout the day. We have meetings to go to. We have to contact personnel in our battalion, discuss what assignments they have going out throughout the day, scheduling personnel and meetings to go to, and then we supervise some of the training and stuff in the afternoons. And all this time, we're also making alarms, emergency response. So it gets to be fairly busy. Where our battalion is situated in the Corps, we have a larger response area, so we're busy 24/7 out there.
The best thing I like is I took the Executive Fire Officer program in Emmitsburg, Maryland at the National Fire Academy, and the big thing the superintendent told us was, at this point in your career, our career, your career, is to give back. And part of that for me is I still get to interact with those fire companies every day. And if I can give them some experiences that I've had and try to teach them, things that have worked for me and things that haven't, then that's what it works. And it's still the same reason we all came on 30 years ago, is to make a difference in the community.
That's really what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The American Fire Service was invented by Ben Franklin, one of our founding fathers. This system he developed in Philadelphia is very similar to what we deploy here today. Strategically located fire stations designed to provide a fast, reliable service to the community. As the community changes and the needs of the community change, you have a dynamic fire department ready to meet those needs. That concludes this episode of Burning Issues. Remember, the Wichita firefighters are trained professionals who are your friends and neighbors. They are Wichita's bravest, and they're somewhere every day.